The seagulls follow the trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes! Welcome aboard the Bhoycie Bus. This is what we do. This is our city, our colours. Celtic Football Club, take a bow. No, honestly, all we seen today was, this is the old firm. Remember, guys, this is really the old firm. All I see today was an old school Glasgow derby, baby. What a performance. Celtic are showing right now. They are a team with more sides to them than we ever thought. Ange Postecoglou can't adapt. Said who? Maybe me. But now you realise there are many ways to skin a cat. Celtic today showed both resilience, character, strength, and I've probably got the best centre-half partnership I've seen in so long. It's unbelievable. Both combined for the winning goal as well, incidentally. However, Stephen Thompson, I'm going to come to you first because it was meant to just be me and you doing post-match push today. Remember that time?
That's true, yeah.
That seems a distant memory. So we've set up a wee Bhoycie Bus group chat on WhatsApp. Thought we'd be all trendy. Don't worry, I've never said to anyone, the Bhoycie Bus stands alone, guys. We stand alone. But Stephen, my man, I'll come to you first. Just give us a wee bit of how you're feeling. I could ask you for loads of analysis. I don't think it's quite the time for that yet. The adrenaline is pumping. How are you feeling right now? Are we on the brink?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's feeling brilliant after that. I said to you before, I was quite confident all week. Last night, struggling to sleep a wee bit, thinking about the game, who's going to start, blah blah blah. This morning, nerves kicked in straight away. But yeah, first half was really nervous. But I would say from maybe 35 minutes onwards, we got more into the game. Yep. And then, yeah, ride it out. Brilliant time to get the goal as well before the half. So it was good.
How are you feeling now that the dust is settled? Well, it's not really settled, let's be honest. But now we know it's 3 points further in the bank, right? With 6 clear, potentially you could look at it as 7 with the goal difference. It's a win at their patch as well, which we know is a hammer blow mentally as well. Stephen, talk to me about how you're actually feeling as a fan right now. Is it relief? Is it exhilaration? Is the job done? Is there complacency creeping in? Where are we at? Because I can't actually cope with the amount of emotions I've got right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think the job completely done yet, but it's near enough there. What was it, 6 games left? So, but yeah, I'm feeling ecstatic now. And to be honest, if you said before like Christmas and stuff that we'd be sitting here now 6 points clear, I wouldn't really believe it. So yeah, I'm feeling brilliant after that.
Yep, I totally agree with you, mate. I just think it's a turnaround that no one could have expected. 6 points behind before the winter break. Now, I have got Rangers supporting pals I'm in a group chat with, and don't get me wrong, they've had a lot of capital letter messages sent to them. And do you know the first reply I got, right? I'll come to you, Terry. The first reply I got was, well, since they changed the schedule to suit Celtic, apart from that, you've probably been the better team. Remember, Terry, seeing a moment of glory, 10 teams voted to suit Celtic's schedule. Never forget it, Terry. And I'm sure that dark cloud is hovering above you today as you try and somehow find a way, Terry, to celebrate today's success.
Bhoycie, for me, this, if we win this league, this is the best one of my life. I'm 44.
Yep.
And I've experienced lots of great times, but after the torture of last year, if we get this one, this one's the best of my life, honestly. From where we started at the start of this season in total disarray, players didn't want to be there, new manager. Honestly, I hoped we would be in this position, but did you really think it would be? No, you really didn't. And from the 25 points gap of last year to now being 6 points ahead, which is really 7 with 6 games to go. See, today, to be honest, today was one of the calmest I've been in one of these games. I know you set up the chat and I put a comment on at halftime saying, I can't speak during these games, never mind type. See, the second half, I was with my dad. He's 75. He was very nervous. I thought at one point he was for A&E, but I felt very, very comfortable during those 45. At no stage did I think, do you know what, this is going to go any way other than the way I wanted to go. I thought we were comfy. I thought today was, yes, first 5 minutes were uncomfortable. They scored. But apart from that first 5 minutes, I thought that was as routine an away game at Ibrox as you will get. And at no stage did I think we're in trouble here. And yeah, do you know what? There was balls going into the box in the last 10 minutes. And I thought, right, worst case scenario, they get one. We're still 3 points clear with 6 games to go. I'd have took a draw. I would have took a draw all day long before the game. I'd have shook your hand. I'd have took a draw. And as the game was going on, I was saying to my dad, look, even if they sneak one here, we'd have signed up for a draw at the start. But at no stage, the only danger to Joe Hart was the glass in the fucking 6-yard box. And do you know what I mean? That glass, as I told you boys at halftime, that glass was not thrown on by a Rangers supporter. That glass was Rangers bottle crashing yet again.
It was the light. That was the best text of the day. Scott, I'm going to come to you, mate, because we need to be honest, Scott. I felt the first 5-10 minutes, Celtic didn't even look like they knew how to pass a ball. I was shiting myself. And yet, as Terry says, despite the fact we're maybe in the midst of putting in a display that wasn't really fitting of what we've seen a lot since the turn of the year. Celtic have been excellent since the turn of the year in particular. I just felt like today, even though we were playing, I felt within ourselves, we still weren't under that much of a threat, were we?
No. We're in second gear and still bossed them. End of the day. I mean, fuck's sake.
I thought, Scott, the clear-cut chances were created by us, weren't they?
Well, yeah. Well, they had one good chance and scored it. Pretty much.
Yep.
Then their shots started wider and wider and wider of the mark, you know? And it was like, there was no danger after that.
No, I agree with that. I mean, obviously, Phil, I'll come to you, mate. I mean, I told you in the group chat, my nerves are a bit shaky. I was shaking a bit. And, you know, I was well behaved last night. As you know, I've not been well and all that bullshit, you know? But, like, genuinely, I was like, this isn't actually for me anymore. This whole football thing. And I'm, like, not in a bad way, but, like, the podcast does start playing in your mind as well. I'm not saying that in a self-indulgent way, but it fucking does, right? Because you start going, how am I going to face this if we keep playing like this? Like, I'm going to need to go on. Bill Stevens getting dragged along for the journey. Like, we're going to need to get pelters, probably about £50 in donations off Rangers fans of the monetising thing. But literally, like, we petty donations off them, ripping the pish. All these thoughts are going through your head. And Phil, I wasn't convinced in the first 10 minutes, even after we scored, to be completely honest to you. I still wasn't that confident the next sort of 5-10 minutes. But as the first half began to develop, it looked to me like the opposition's high press that they began with, and I thought executed pretty well, it kind of died off. I thought they tired after 10-20 minutes. They were blowing pretty early.
Yeah, mate, I felt like there was a lot of similarities in that game to one we saw a few years ago in Brendan's first season, where we went to Ibrox New Year game and Miller scored after a few minutes and they came out the traps flying, as they normally do at Ibrox. But once we got the equaliser and started to find our way into the game, we just, dominated it, kept possession, controlled the tempo. The only thing that game was missing today was Giakoumakis out in the corner in the last minute for, what was it? What did Dembele do? 3-4 minutes, just keep it in the corner. That's all we needed, because it felt exactly like that as I was watching it was going on. And you could tell that they were beat with about 15-20 minutes to go, when it just became cross into the box, another cross. It was like watching us at home against a team like St Mirren, where it's 0-0 with 10 minutes to go and we just cross it into the box, and St Mirren or somebody just packed the box. That's what we were doing. We were just putting every man back and dealing with everything that they threw into the box and just headed it away. Tremendous, absolutely buzzing, mate. I am feeling top of the league looking down on the Rangers, mate. I'm feeling right now. Come on.
I think it's an interesting point you make. See, towards the end, it looked to me like they were playing a game of get the ball to Tavernier and just hope one of his deliveries do something. It's hit and hope stuff. And we've been questioned defensively more than them by a mile this year, even though we've got the best defensive record in the league. I thought Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers were lapping it up. What they don't like was that high press in the first 15 minutes. But when you're playing against a Celtic team that actually, when you get possession, now, I think it was after 25 minutes the match stats went up, and it turns out the possession being 50-50, which it didn't feel like as a Celtic fan, because you're shiting yourself, right? It didn't feel like it was 50-50. But when you start thinking about it, as much as they're high pressing us, that means 50% of the game we've been doing Ange ball on them, which we all know means no time in the ball, no relentlessness. How do you keep it up? I thought they struggled, Bruce, to keep that momentum going. I actually thought after 15-20 minutes, they tired. Celtic got to grips with the game. And ironically enough, in a game that will be described in the future as one of the most high-tempo, fast-paced games ever, it was a man in his slippers, Bruce, that seemed to do all the talking with the football. I give you Tom Rogic.
Well, firstly, the bus is chock full of G's. Come get through, have a swap, get some breeze. Just Celtic, yes, that's my team. And now it's fucking P.M.P.
P.M.P, mate.
Yes.
Oh, Bruce, I'll edit that out when it goes on this. No, I'm like, go on. Go on,
Rogic, it was one of those performances that sort of goes under the radar, and that is absolutely true to the slip analogy there, because it basically coasts through the game and controls the tempo of our progression from defence up to attack. Everything that goes through midfield, he's controlling the tempo there, as well as McGregor was as well. But you notice it with McGregor. You don't even really notice it with Rogic. He's just sort of doing his thing, and it just flies under the radar. But yeah, he deserved his goal today. But yeah, just a team performance. There wasn't a standout for me. It was grit. It was determination. It was belief. See, when that first goal went in, and our group chat just fucking went mental. Like, oh shit,
limbs, mate, limbs everywhere.
It is bad. And then I was just like, look, right, we've got this. We're prepared. We're set up tactically. We're set up mentally for all, anything that could go wrong. And Ange even said it a few days ago. It was like, I tell the boys that we follow our game. We do our thing. And, if we go behind within the first few minutes through no fault of our own.
They didn't panic. Do
your thing. And we went behind. within the first few minutes, and we kept doing our thing, and it worked.
Yeah.
Now,
I
that
thought
game of the hardest fixture. We're not going to be tested like that again for the rest of the league. So it's in our hands now, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. It absolutely is. I mean, for me, the first goal, I mean, Juranovic in that opening 20 minutes, I thought it was like someone wearing a Juranovic mask. He was so unlike himself. It was like an imposter playing there. I thought, fucking hell, he might actually need to get hooked. Because he was so out of position for the goal. His possession, he was like he couldn't string a 5-yard pass. Everything seemed complicated. He probably wasn't alone in that. Then we had a moment of clarity, Stephen. And let's talk about the impact it has on a team when you have someone willing to step up and be El Capitano. And what happened was Callum McGregor sensed, in my opinion. I don't think he knows there's going to be a goal that comes out of this, right? But what he was doing was he took the ball and he went, I'm going to carry this for 5-10 years. I'm going to beat a man and remind everyone the ball at our feet's what we're good at, guys, right? Stop shiting yourself. What it turned into, though, of course, before he knew it, was him encroaching in their box. And suddenly he's now making a square ball for an opportunity at goal. But it was the moment of Callum McGregor basically grabbing the game from just as it's coming out of our fingertips, and the players are I felt a wee bit on edge. I think Stephen Callum McGregor showed real leadership there, took control. I want that from my captain.
Yeah, 100%. I thought he was brilliant again today. But yeah, that driving run forward with the ball, taking on a couple of players and that pass through, and then Tati had a shot, and then it came to Roger. It was brilliant control, kind of half volley. But yeah, that drive forward was brilliant from our captain, and yeah, he's been outstanding all season, to be fair.
True. I thought it set the tone, though. And I know that a goal comes from it, which is brilliant. But even if a goal hadn't came from that, I thought what he was trying to do was go, for fuck's sake, remember who you are. Like, we can control the ball. We're good with the ball. Like, stop thinking this is, like, all impossible because there's 50,000 fans, and we'll talk about their poison maybe in a wee bit. Well, if we can be asked. I mean, I don't want to give it too much airtime. We've spoken about their bottle crashing already, Terry. But what I will say is, that first goal, I felt came a wee bit against the run of play, shall we say. I thought, though, towards the end of the second half, Terry, I'll come to you. I thought Celtic, once they got to grips with it, you actually started going, and maybe I'm just watching it as a nervous wreck as a supporter, but when you take yourself out of the equation, you go, that was 2, 3, maybe 4 clear-cut chances we had. They'd had nothing like that in the first half. They had their goal in the first 2 minutes when we were caught off guard. Other than that, it was actually Celtic who were beginning to do the penetrating passes, beginning to slice Rangers open. I thought there was a penalty shout, and again, I'm not going to sit and bitch about referees. I can't be bothered with it all. At first glance, I actually thought Mida was well tackled by the goalie. You watch the replay, it turns out Mida's actually took the ball the other way from McGregor and is undoubtedly tripped. But that was only one of a couple of occasions where I thought, fucking hell. There was the other one, was it Rogic? And it was cleared off one of the defenders who blocked it when McGregor had done a good save initially. I thought, we're actually the team, we're the one creating the more clear-cut chances here, Terry. It's difficult at the time to have such a perspective on everything when you are caught up in it all. But when you look back at it, even Celtic's first half, which probably wasn't our best display this season, when you look back at it, we could have been further ahead.
I always say to you, Bhoycie, if you take the emotion out of it and you step back, it looks completely different. And we were completely comfortable. And as I said, my dad was with me. He gets very excited. He's 75. I don't like him getting excited. So when he's here, I'm trying to keep him on an even keel. And he's shouting and roaring for everything. He's off his seat. And I'm sort of saying, look, calm down. We're in total control here. Now, I probably don't believe him saying this, but I thought Willie Cullum had a very good game. I thought Willie Cullum had a good game. There was times where there were things he could have gave to them, and if you watched it back, you're going, I can see why he gave that. You're looking at the Carter Vickers handball. Yes, it wasn't a penalty, but we've seen penalties given for similar things to that, where it's hit his arm. His arm wasn't extended. It wasn't a penalty. I thought Willie Cullum for once, had a good game. He got the big calls. Oh, he got the big calls all right. We were comfortable, Bhoycie. We were comfortable.
I felt just to touch on the referee, and again, it's not something that we always want to over focus on, but I actually felt where the referee was trying his best not to give that early booking, because you know it then just spreads like wildfire, and the chance of a red card goes up a notch. I thought he was keeping his cards in his pocket pretty well. I thought he was trying to let the game have that, when there's a lid on something. And it's like that. I think he was trying to keep that balance. He's going, this is pretty feisty. It's tasty.
I thought he was good. He could have started dishing out cards like confetti in the first 15, 20 minutes. He didn't. And credit where credit is due. We're very, very quick to jump on these guys and criticize them. There's not too many decisions in that match that I can look back and go, well, he got that wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, I called him a cunt about 100 times, but when I stand back and look at it, he got everything right. He had a decent game. Willie Collum had a decent game. He got everything right. There were times you've just got your Celtic head on where you're thinking, right,
so true.
If we give him an opportunity, he's going to give it. But he didn't. He had a proper game. I spoke to a couple of my Rangers fan friends straight after the match. They've absolutely no complaints. There's nothing like the referee did this, the referee did that.
No.
It's just, you know what? The better team won. The referee got all the decisions right. Do you know what? For once, I'm happy to sit here and say, you know what, Willie Collum, you had a pretty decent game, mate.
Sorry to hear, but that's a really good point, Terry. Like, before the game, this variable that we that could scupper us ultimately was Willie Collum, because a particularly card happy referee.
Yeah.
And I used to think he was biased. I just don't really understand.
It's an easy narrative to have that the referee's biased. I mean, I think there's a genuine incompetence of referees, which is massive. I mean, I think I've said this on the bus before. John Beaton was photographed after a Celtic Rangers game in a Rangers pub. That's not paranoia. That's a fact, right? There's bias going to be involved there. If you think he can remove that element from his profession, then I think you're kidding yourself on. Other than that, I genuinely feel the rest are just shite, right? Today, I think Terry's just been really refreshingly honest. The ref was all right today.
Yeah, he was great.
He let the game go, Bruce. And I think he knew there was potential. The potential flashpoints could have been the game. I was glad we didn't start, and I've been vocal about this, we didn't start near Beaton. I think he gives referees decisions to make too often, right? And literally, the only decision he gave Colin today was the most Stonewall yellow card of all time.
Trademark Beaton.
I was all good to that. But what I did think was, you look at Jack Lundstrom, and I think Lundstrom's tackle he gets the yellow for, fucking hell. I mean, on another day, if, as Terry says, this had been a card-happy first half, what does Lundstrom's tackle become then? It becomes looking closer to red, though. Because, no, but if he's dished out, if he's dished out the yellows, then the consistency, I'm glad it was only a yellow. I agree with you. I think it was a yellow. But what I'm saying is, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to give these sort of calls that are fair. They are just like, that's a fucking yellow, that was late, naughty boy. They're so much easier when you've not been already doing a flurry of yellows for Rice. Do you know what I mean? Phil, what did you make of the tempo of the game we could talk about? Because I thought it was frenetic from start to finish, albeit it was still the longest 90 minutes of my life. But I thought definitely there was a control, not just the referee, fuck the referee. Celtic showed. I thought they showed real discipline today. The defence for the back was as strong in the final minute as it was in the first.
I mean, there was a point during the first half where Ian Crocker said something about, this first half's flown in. I was like, flown in? You watched the same game as me? I was going absolutely crazy. It felt so long that first half. The first 20 minutes or so, we were under the caution. I mean, I don't know if you guys will, but see when our equaliser went in, did anyone else have that bad feeling it was going to get flagged offside? Because it was a delayed reaction I had when Rogic is completely alone. He's totally alone and he's able to just put it in the net. Because I was like, it was that easy. It was so easy for us because, as you said, Bhoycie, we're under the cosh, and then McGregor, captain goal, takes his game by the scruff of the neck. runs right through them, creates a chance for us, and we score. And again, it's like my dad jumped out his seat celebrating right away, and I was kind of like, is that going to count? I just couldn't believe that it was that easy for us. And you're like, how have we started so badly? This is what we're up against. We can easily cut through them, no problem. And I say, after we got through that 20, 25 minutes, the tempo, we were just massively in control. And you just didn't feel that much in danger in the second half. I say they just reverted to, we'll just throw balls into the box and just hope for the best here. There was no real any attempts for Rangers to try and thread a nice ball through the middle or nothing like that. They brought in Sakala, who's got a bit of pace, unlike Roof, who's just was a target man. And, Sakala's just out wide, doing nothing. It's like they could have, but again, they got it wrong. We're not here to dwell on their mistakes. We got it right. And absolutely spot on again. It's just phenomenal.
Can I quickly, I'm going to come in on the vibe that was maybe offside, Rogic's goal. I thought the same. I kind of did that, like, jumped out off the couch.
Yep.
And then kind of like froze in midair going, wait, no. I think a lot of that is the fact we're still getting adapted to the fact there's no, you can't hear the fans. You can't hear the celebration.
That's right. Yeah,
that
even
silence,
when Carter scored, it was quiet.
The silence completely confuses you. It's not like it's a complete mind throw. They need to get that shit sorted. But to the 700 fans that were there today, absolutely, Scott, we doff the cap to all of them. And I hope they all got home safe because, let's be honest, Scott, that was turning into potentially something very toxic, even at half-time. We've seen the scenes as they tried to kick off for the second half. My view is, if that's what it's like then, and trust me, I'm not going to justify what they did, right? But it's a huge sign of under the cosh, under pressure, not being able to deal with what the reality is. That's only going to be intensified when full-time comes and the game really is gone. I just hope all 700 of them have got up the road all right.
Yeah, if it was me, I wouldn't have taken the tickets in the first place, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Why?
Well, like you said, you've got to think about the safety in that after the game. You came with the fans like they're a fuck nuggets, man. You know what I mean?
Brilliant analysis there for Scott. They're all fuck nuggets. I'll remember that.
I mean, if they're throwing bottles in the stadium, what are they going to be doing in the streets?
Yeah. But I mean, what I'm saying is as well, though, I mean, when you're seeing an environment like that, I mean, Joe Hart was almost, I thought he was Riley laughing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I thought when you look at Joe Hart's reaction's almost baffled, like, what the heck is going on? There's no need for this nonsense. But also, they do a close-up of the glass, and you're going, it's not even like that could potentially harm a player. That could harm one of their players just as easily if that's not picked up on. This is mindless. But for me, I think as the season goes on and reality hits, Bruce, I think it's going to get more toxic. I genuinely do. I think reality bites, mate. I'm not saying, like I'm saying it smiling because we won today. But in general, I'm going, they don't like it when it's not going their way. And they're quite willing to go to whatever it takes sort of levels.
Absolutely true. And, like all of us personally, individually, we go through some shit and things don't go well for us. But personally, for me, if things consistently don't go well for 10 years, I develop you know what I mean? Like,
but can I just say, though, like, you've got Joe Hart, 75 caps for England, right? This is the sort of guy or caliber or profile of player. We should be, get that phone on silent. I swear to God. Like, we should be. It's Terry. Oh, I know it's Terry.
I'm going to set it down here. I've just people messaging me, people looking horses on and all sorts of pish in the middle of this. We're trying to have a fucking debate here, and there's boys looking horses bet and everything. I can't be dealing with this nonsense.
Get that blue.
Oh, good, mate. Oh, good. But what, like, on a serious note, I mean, and we're going to celebrate our success, by the way, shortly. But what I will say, guys like Joe Hart, 75 caps for England, is that profile of a player not what we're trying to bring to Scotland? Aaron Ramsey, by the way, as well. I know it's all injury prone. That's the type of profile I'm encouraged to see coming to Scottish football.
Do you know what?
He played well for Rangers today. He was probably their best player. He genuinely points looks quite good.
But I think, what message is it when they're talking? So Aaron Ramsey, you think Terry's phone's busy right now? You think Aaron Ramsey's right now? Oh, Gareth Bale, for example. What was it like? Oh, mate, they had to delay the start of the second half because a glass bottle was thrown. What? Smashed? Aye, smashed. That's just a turn off, you know. And it's like, I just think stuff like that, just that toxicity. I love the banter to be at a certain level, and don't get me wrong, I like the feistiness of it, but then it just crosses that line where I'm going, I actually thought it knocked the stuffing out of their potential initial sort of second half. Like, they could have came out us out the traps again like they did at the beginning of the first half. I actually thought the stuffing was kind of knocked out that by their own support today. Now, we discussed on the Bhoycie bus last night, Rangers fans can be their own downfall at times. I felt today that was actually the case, and not the way I was actually meaning last night, a completely different way. We don't have any time for this sort of shit, Terry, do we?
I was sitting, do you know what, Bhoycie? I was sitting and I said to my dad at half time, I said, fuck, do you know what? It's great just to have 15 minutes here just to chill out. And I said, I wish the half time would be extended by 10 minutes. And then before you know it, the half time was extended by about 5 to 10 minutes because of the glass and everything on the pitch. And I just thought it all worked in our favour. They were, you know, we've gone in at half time in a great position.
Yep.
And, you know, they've just delayed the whole thing. It was the same a few weeks ago. It worked against them. I know they got the result at Dundee, but they were in a difficult position, and the fans throwing on the bog rolls and all the rest.
Didn't help.
It just all worked against them. And
I totally agree.
And on a serious note, I was sitting here thinking, right, do you know what? They've thrown this stuff on here thinking this is going to, you know, Joe Hart could potentially get injured here. One of their lads could have ended up getting sliced alive on a piece of glass. I'm thinking here, Aaron Ramsey, you've got Aaron Ramsey here on 400 grand a week that you're not paying for. However, if he gets injured, there's an insurance policy somewhere to cover that 400 grand. You could end up with one of your own players getting sliced alive. Like, what the fuck is going on in your head? And I won't turn around and go, there's no element of the Celtic support that wouldn't behave badly. But I'm just going, what are you trying to achieve here? Like, Joe, you've thrown stuff into Joe Hart's box. It might not be Joe Hart that gets fucking injured. It could be fucking Ramsey. It could be any of these other players of yours. And you end up with Ramsey. You know, you don't know what way this game's going to go. You could have came back and won. Ramsey could have got wiped out for the season. Tavernier could have wiped out for the season. Any of your players could have got a real serious injury because of what you did. What are you trying to do here? This is ridiculous.
I thought it backfired. I don't think it looks clever either. I don't think it's a good advert for our game, Stephen, either, to be honest.
Sky wouldn't have liked it. Sky wouldn't have liked that.
No. And I don't know, I mean, speaking of Sky, I wonder what your thoughts are on this, Stephen. Did you watch it on Sky, I take it, today?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Andy Walker, wow. What a personality transplant to have. He sounded like a Celtic fan today, did he not, Stephen? I mean, it was actually quite refreshing. And see, to be honest, I know everyone likes McCoy a dick because of certain stuff he did when he was in charge of Rangers. To me, he only brought banter to Rangers when he was in charge. I actually don't mind him as a pundit in general, if I'm honest. That is me being completely honest. And I actually thought today, Andy Walker, I'm like, that's not really an enemy. See, if it was Chris Boyd in the gantry with him, then fair enough having the nibbles. I thought, Walker's almost picking a fight with him because today it was quite refreshing. I forgot he played for Celtic, Stephen.
Yeah, no, it was quite refreshing. I'm with you. I don't really mind Ali McCoy too much as a pundit. Yeah, he's all right. But yeah, it was actually all right for a change in Skies. I preferred the BT Sport, to be honest, back a couple of seasons ago. But yeah, it was all right.
Chris Sutton was lording it. It was on BT.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
If you think us losing the whole Brimlone stand was big, we lost the league lost the whole TV contract because of us enjoying ourselves too much. Stephen, we'll get on to then what transpired on the game, right? And I am coming to you because I know it was meant to just be me and you talking about the game today. As much as I love the fact the bus is packed, I love it. This is what I like.
Sorry, Stephen.
I just before I say this, I'm going to quickly do the whole please hit subscribe, please hit like. Stephen, before you reply to this, there's 335 Celtic fans watching live right now. That is unbelievable. 337 now. This is crazy numbers for the bus. But we then get the second goal, Stephen. Did you feel that was against the run of play again? Or was it showing Celtic in a completely different light? I've been massively critical about Celtic defending and attacking set pieces. Today, the centre-back combination combined, and it's from a set piece that we score. And what's a finish, by the way, as well, from the end of the day, it was the man of the match, Cameron Carter-Vickers, but it's another side to Celtic that we're now maybe beginning to see a wee bit more of.
Yeah, definitely. I thought like we defended set plays as well brilliantly, especially near the end. But yeah, it was a perfect time to score just before half time. But like I said before, I think from about 35-minute mark, we were getting more chances. Maeda had a couple of chances. We're getting into the game a bit more, our game a bit more, passing the ball, a bit of pace through the back as well. So yeah, I thought it was a brilliant time to score, get into half time. But yeah, I thought it was definitely coming into our game near the end of the second half.
Yeah, I just think Celtic showed in both boxes today a physical side to them. It's not just all about technique. And as I say, I mean, at times I thought the ball was like a hot potato in that first half, Yeah. I thought that, I'm like, come on, fuck. Show a wee bit. Like, look for the ball. I thought Tom Rogic did it in his slippers today, Phil. I thought Callum McGregor, as we've already spoken about, showed the leadership at the beginning. He wasn't scared of that ball. And the one other boy I thought as well, in particular at the beginning, who wasn't making the ball look like a foreign object was Jota. Jota, again, showed to me someone who, yes, he oozes confidence because he knows the ability he's got, but that atmosphere can fuck anyone's head up and make them feel stupid, And I thought, again, Jota today, his contribution was absolutely fantastic. And I think, again, you're looking at the goal scorer, Cameron Carter-Vickers, you're looking at Jota on the ball. I mean, when he was subbed off, I was actually concerned through because I thought his ball retention, almost like Nakamura. Remember when Nakamura used to get pelters like, oh, he's not got an assist on a goal against Rangers in 4 or 5 games. Yeah, but the fact is he never gave the ball away once against them. His ball retention was incredible. I thought Jota today was an out ball for us at times that allowed Celtic to breathe. Those two guys, Phil, again, I know it's a lazy debate to have because it's happened so many times, but again, the argument's grown in strength all the time. Potentially with the fact someone turned their phone sound off. I swear to God.
Sorry.
Just put it on mute, mate.
I'm gonna knock it off here.
But like, I just feel like Jota and Cameron Carter-Vickers potentially were going to be based on whether we win the league or whatever. Well, that's now looking increasingly likely. I think Celtic need to be very proactive in that now and go, that 40 millions, I know the league's not quite done yet. In my opinion, it's 99% done. Yeah. But it's not quite done. Obviously, we need to watch what we say because it can become a meme. But I think the reality is, though, now that you know that 40 million's there on the horizon, Celtic need to be very proactive in getting the feelers out to these guys and wanting to know, where do they see the future? Because see, if they don't see the future, Celtic, that's the only obstacle. We've got the fees agreed. We've got the first option. It's now about saying to them or their agents, what's the score here? Well, how likely are you to stay? And I think right now is as good a time to strike as any, Phil.
I think so as well. And personally, I think out of the two, Carter-Vickers is more likely than Jota still. So I think there's a wee bit of question mark over Jota. And again, I'll keep thinking about, you're talking about agents, it takes a bad agent to be in his ear and say, don't commit to anything yet. But I think, see, after scoring today, the winner, Carter-Vickers, I mean, the rush he must have got, that feeling, how can he walk away from that? I mean, that is a hell of a feeling. That's got to be something that's got to sway him. But yeah, you're totally right about the contributions that they've been, they've done this season. And yeah, Jota was good today. Carter-Vickers, he grew into the game. Initially, the defence was a bit shaky, but as it went on, we got better. But the thing that I wanted to highlight as well is I think it spoke volumes of how good Rogic was. Remember a few weeks ago, the whole thing at Motherwell where he said that, we've been top for the last 10 years. He made that comment. And realistically, there was only a small group of players that fell under, and he was one of them. I think him and McGregor in particular, they showed today, the experience shone through at times because, when we were absolutely up against it in the first sort of 20 minutes or so, it was they two. And Rogic was an absolute luxury today. When he came off after 60 minutes, I was like, oh no, don't tell me this is the Rogic of old. He only lasts an hour. I thought maybe we can push it to 75 minutes. But and also, by the way, another thing as well, O'Reilly came on and went off injured from a bad tackle from Aribo. I know it was quite a meaty tackle, and yeah, he does come away with the ball. But I think it speaks volumes that Matt O'Reilly had to go off injured shortly after it. Yep. So, nothing came of that one. Rogic, unbelievable today. Absolutely, he was a leader on the park and showed that his comment from a few weeks ago justified, and what he said about being top for a decade. He played like a player that was top for the last decade.
Yeah, I agree. Scott, we'll come to you, mate. Now, I mean, I think it just showed the importance today as well. You have to have guys with that wee bit of know-how still. It's brilliant, all Angie's imports, and we've loved every signing he's brought to the club. We really have. I mean, I attacked him a bit of quieter day today, but on the whole, it's been a success. You look at Maeda today, I mean, that guy's, I don't know where his energy level's coming from. He obviously didn't play the same J-League season as Atati. Right? Bizarre. Kyogo has been a complete success. O'Reilly, from what we've seen so far from League One in England, a complete success. Starfelt, Terry was touching on earlier, a complete success, in my opinion, now, with the benefit of time. Now, Scott, how much does it show you, though? You need to have guys still that understand this fixture, have experience of the fixture, such as Callum McGregor, we touched on earlier, such as Tom Rogic, who Phil's waxing lyrical about right now. These guys are so crucial as well, aren't they? You have to have that balance. You can't just have 11 newbies, can you?
No, definitely not. No. I mean, you need a good, strong squad, but like you said, you need a core of players that have been there and done it. I mean, I thought Greg Taylor had a good game today.
Yeah. Agreed.
There was one tackle in particular for Taylor in the second half. If he Kent, he cut across the box, brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? He was solid today, wasn't he?
Super.
I mean, you need guys like that have been there and done it.
Yep.
Definitely.
That's the balance, Scott, isn't it? It can't just be. You can't just go. I mean, I think actually the squad turnaround that we've actually all witnessed under Ange is almost unheard of. The fact we were 27 points to be lose the league by last year.
Yeah.
We're now 6 clear plus 14 goals, and he's done it almost with a brand new team. But what shone through to me today, Scott, was how important it is to have guys who've been there, seen it, done it. The two guys not scared of that ball today, Scott. And in the initial 10 minutes of madness was Tom Rogic and Callum McGregor. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, mark of champions, mate.
Yep. Well, they've been there, seen it, done it, haven't they?
You know what I mean? It's simple as that. They've all been there and done it.
Yep. I thought it shone through. I really did.
It was a good game. Like they all pulled their weight. It's a squad game. Come on, we've got the squad now to cope.
I think that's a brilliant point because seeing actually, by the way, we're now in 408 live. I am not joking, man.
Awesome.
Bruce, I'm going to come to you on this, by the way, because Scott has just nailed it there. Phil's talking about O'Reilly coming on. It was a shame he went off. But Tom Rogic for O'Reilly, to me, is as close now to like for like as we could ever have hoped for. And you know the thing is, Bruce, right? See, by the time David Turnbull's came on, this is a guy on, 9 goals and double figures for assists this season, and we've not had him for 3 months. The squad depth is slowly but surely getting there, isn't it?
Well, think about we seems to be building that all across the Rogic and Riley is the obvious example, but then you can stick Maeda on the left, you can stick Kyogo on the left, you can have Abada, Jota. All these players are doing similar jobs in the same positions, but brings something very slightly different to the table. And we needed that. We absolutely needed that today because Rangers came out flying. Pinned us back, they scored that goal, and even after we equalised, they were still making us throw our game plan out the window. But when we first got and we were getting all of these reports from people who knew the J-League or whatever, and they're all saying he's only got one plan, and plan B would just be do plan A better. And there's no chance changing. If it's not working, you're going to lose. Simple as that, basically. That's what we're all told.
You're cutting in a wee bit and out there, Bruce, but I do get what you're saying. Are you using earphones or something? It's cutting in a wee bit in and out.
Is this any better?
It's
Yes.
Don't take this. That's just how I talk.
No. I wouldn't do that. I've heard you rap, mate. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't slag that off, mate.
thing though, like we've proven over the piece now that we don't just have a plan A. We don't even just have a plan B. We've got a response to every single point of contention that we've been presented with this year. So they came out flying, they pinned us back, they got a goal. We responded to that, we got a goal, but then we still didn't manage to get a grip of the game. They pinned us back. We just weathered the storm and we changed it very slightly here and there, all over the pitch, just to get control back of the game. And I can't remember seeing a Celtic team that was as adaptable and as interchangeable as this one already is. And we're led to believe that Ange is a second season man.
Yeah. No. That is a good point.
If this is us building something, fucking bring it.
I think
it's going to get better than this. Who's going to do us?
Bruce, I think you've just had a couple of very important points there. Firstly, Ange, adaptable, did you say? Now, you'd forgive me if I'm wrong. I said at the beginning of the season on the other pod, right? 3 wins, 3 losses in the league. I says he has to adapt because Scottish League, whether we like it, whether we don't, it's fucking nuts, right? It's not just ever going to be. Pep Guardiola couldn't come and just play Pep Guardiola football with, particularly when you're not going to have £100 million right backs, you know what I mean? You have to be able to mix it a wee bit. I felt today we seen another side of Celtic that Ange was almost willing. I felt it as well. See, first half, the amount of times Joe Hart was still playing that short pass, and you're going, for fuck's sake, you're inviting it. See, in the first 50 minutes, you're going, you're inviting it. I genuinely, see as much at the time, I'm going, get your principles at the window, Ange. There's also a bit of me that thinks that the second half, he said, use your common sense, though. Like, come on, Joe. I know I've said if you can find a pass, play one. That doesn't mean like hoofing it's out the equation. And you've seen a couple of times in the second half, Joe Hart just going long, and you thought that was needed. It was you've got to give folk breathing space.
It was.
But on top of that,
it was in goal mouth stuff on it
at times. But talking about adapting can also happen when you get the personnel, and the personnel right now is very much more in Ange's favour than it was. He actually said pre-match with a big smile on his face, this is the best group I've had yet since I've been here, because it was only James Forrest, technically, that was missing. Where now do Celtic strengthen, Stephen, in this team? And I'm not saying this in a negative way. This doesn't need to turn into, he needs to replace. I'm talking about, should be the mindset Celtic showed over the last 10 years is, we win a league or we win a big match, where do you strengthen from a position of strength? I don't feel Celtic have done this enough. I think we're all guilty of going, oh, we won, everything's fine. And then we lose to a Cluj or we lose to a like whoever it may be in a Midtjylland, and we start going, he needs replaced, he needs replaced, he needs replaced. See, today, I'm looking at a team in the space of 10 months Ange's managed to form, right? And now fast forward in 10 months. Where has Ange strengthened this team?
That's a very good question, but before I answer that, how has he managed to get all these players in over this season is unbelievable.
Incredible.
The start of the season, look at the squads there till now is unbelievable. Especially we've actually got a bench that we can use and strengthen our team.
435, by the way.
I hope they all like and subscribe. Get those numbers up.
But yeah, strengthen the squads. I don't know. To be fair, I'm not Greg Taylor's biggest fan, but today he was really, really good. But I think maybe strengthen that area a wee bit. I've not really seen much of Scales yet, so he's not really given much of a chance yet. But
let's jump in then. Let's jump in and let's say, look at Greg Taylor today. Now, Terry was straight away clapping there over like because I thought Taylor had a brilliant game today as well. The improvement in him under Ange is undeniable. 5-year deal he was given under Ange Postecoglou as well. Only 4 months ago, big long-term deal. So Ange clearly rates him. You then look at Tony Ralston and you go, look at the improvement of him under Ange. But what I think is you bring in a Juranovic-esque player into left back, and you might find that Greg Taylor can overtake them. Because see today at times, the first half, I thought, do you know what, Ralston might be a better shout today than Juranovic. That's kudos to Ralston and his improvement. I think Taylor could be doing with a push from an Ange signing. I don't think Liam Scales was an Ange Postecoglou signing. I think we all can kind of decipher that now. Him and McCarthy were not signed by Postecoglou. That's quite apparent. But I think, imagine someone of that level like Juranovic, a £4 or £5 million left back comes in. That doesn't mean Greg Taylor's Celtic career's over. No, not under this manager. It means you've got two guys going for the one position that are seriously pushing each other. And I feel that will be another area I think that we'll cover. And I wonder what your thoughts are on this, Phil, right? I think Joe Hart will have competition next season. Big time. I think Ange is one of these guys who is hungry. He is not wanting anyone resting on their laurels, let alone himself. It wouldn't surprise if he brought in a first-team coach and it was a big announcement just to keep John Terry, Gavin Strachan on their toes. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Because you'll go, I know you're under the caution, I bailed you out. Didn't think that's it though. Boom, we go again. And someone comes in with real pedigree, cost maybe a wee bit of money. That wouldn't surprise me. And I certainly think in the goalkeeper department and left back, they're the two areas I think we will see Ange strengthen even further, Phil. But this is all, by the way, this is none of this that we're talking about right now is in a negative way.
No.
We're talking about, we're enhancing right now a squad we cannot believe what we're seeing.
Nothing negative today.
No negatives at all. No, definitely not. And as you said, it's strengthening from a position of strength. That needs to be done. Alex Ferguson preached that for many, many years, and that's why he was so successful at Man United. Always looking to improve the team, and and he wasn't afraid to guys like Van Nistelrooy and stuff like that. Just move them on once they've had fallout. So, but in terms of the left back and that, I definitely think we could probably on a left back. And again, it's not a slight on Taylor. He's done well, and you're right about Liam Scales. But the whole thing about competition will improve these players. You just need to look back at the whole Patrick Roberts and James Forrest thing from a few years ago, how well James Forrest came on under that when he's got somebody pushing him. Greg Taylor's improved massively, but if he's got some still competition behind him, then that will bring him on even more. And plus, if you think of the game, the style that Ange plays, we can't maintain that with a small squad for a full season, the amount of games, the high press. So he's got to have options. It's ideal to have a starting 11 and another 11 that literally plug into all the same places. That's the perfect squad of 22, 23 players, whatever you've got those options. So there are definitely two positions that I can see as improving. Say the Carter Vickers one, if we can get him over the line, who knows what's up with Christopher Julian, if he'll be here or not. That's another debate for another time. We've talked about that many times this season. Nobody knows. But it's exciting going into the summer because, as Bruce said earlier on, we were told by Dan the man from Japan, the journalist, he's a second season manager, and you're right. If this is what he's done in the first season with 2 windows, just imagine what the summer window is going to be like. And keep in mind, there's no World Cup going on in the summer, so that will not be a distraction. He'll have all the time in the world to really concentrate on getting new players in for the team. It's really exciting going ahead. It really is.
Terry. Now, it's great to talk about strengthening the squad, but I fancy stirring the pot a wee bit. And you look like you've got that mischievous face on you right now today, Terry, especially in that bucket. So let's do it. How much, if any, impact has this whole Ange homecoming tour had? I'll give you my thoughts first. I thought the announcement is where Rangers have got their beef. And it's funny because see when they've suggested there be for the announcement timing of it, I had already said on the bus I felt the announcement was very tactical by Celtic, so I kind of see where they're coming from. If I'm honest, I thought it was all about unsettling them. Celtic know how media works. They know this is going to be like punted as the Ange Postecoglou homecoming Australian tour, right? They knew that was how it was. Now, it's called the Sydney Cup. They won it in you come Rangers. There's 2.5 million. By the way, we're getting 6. Wait till you find out. Every Australian news channel's calling it Angie's homecoming tour. And they have released that in the midst of a title battle. You have watched inward war occurring. Dave King's back in the news. That big squinty-eyed clown. He's back going, I'll pay the money. And, oh, shut up, you old idiot. But the fact is, see when you see wee old characters from the banter years coming back in, Terry, I feel there's been absolute devils at work in the midst of all this, right? There's devilish work went on. And also, they then don't double down. They back down, Terry. And they then go, we're pulling out the tournament, we're pulling out to try and get the fans back on side, 48 hours before the game. I'm sorry, I believe there is now a disconnect between the board and the fans, which now after a defeat, which of course I think Celtic knew may happen, now they are in a shitstorm, mate, that is going nowhere. How big a factor has this tournament played, if any, in your humble opinion, and the way the end of the season is panning out? You're on mute, mate. You're on mute.
That's just how he talks. He's like,
I'm trying to mute.
That's us. That's us now. We're sorted now, right? I muted myself because my phone was pinging there with loads of Rangers fans.
I'm glad
loads
you
of
did,
Rangers
mate.
fans going, don't give me grief.
can you hear the Rangers?
I don't think it plays any part in today's game. But
No.
Bhoycie, when you and I, the first time this came out was when I first came on, and we just reacted to it. And Celtic fans, probably very similar to Rangers fans, we were against it.
500!
We were against this thing. But
500!
the way the Rangers fans reacted to it made it so much easier for us as Celtic fans to accept the whole thing, because we knew we were pulling the strings of the whole thing. This whole thing started before Ange came in, but all of a sudden, it's all about the Ange homecoming. Mm-hmm. It's all about Celtic coming out to Australia, and these guys are just tagging along for the ride. And we just let them go. If they hadn't kicked up, our fans probably would have kept kicking up, but they kicked up so bad that we just let them go. They make dicks out of themselves, and we just sit back and laugh. But I don't think it's absolutely nothing to do with today's game. But
no,
the bit that gets me is I reckon it's going to cost them about 5 million to get out of this, and they don't have 2 D's in their name.
There's a storm a brew that someone involved is sitting right now going, I tell you this would happen. Someone right now is saying that. But Scott, I think Terry makes a good point. Has nothing to do with what happened today, does it? What happened today was based on 2 sets of players up against each other. Who was better than the other, Scott? Take it away, mate.
Well, we're the better team.
That's it, mate.
Definitely. We always have been, mate. Always have been.
Always. I love it, mate. I love it. I just think Celtic, when they go a goal behind, I thought they showed that, I don't want to sound like Stephen Presley, but like they showed character, desire, they really dug in deep. And even when we looked a wee bit shaky on the ball and maybe folk had, had 2 left feet, I just thought we had that resilience today that,
I mean,
you need to win league titles, Scott?
Yeah. Once we started cutting out the stupid mistakes, came out with the slack passing that. Once that got cut out, we were just playing a normal game, weren't we? After that,
I couldn't agree more, mate.
Every time they were coming forward, it was like because we were getting the ball back to them, pretty much.
No, totally.
Do you know what I mean,
totally.
man?
No, I agree. I agree with you massively, Scott. I think what you're saying is true. I just feel like, Bruce, we're in a situation right now where Terry keeps pointing down. I don't know what he's pointing down at.
It's a comment, isn't it?
Comment.
Great to hear real Celtic fans talking without all the shite. Thank you very much, Joe Hamilton.
Knee shite.
No shite here, mate.
Aye.
Phil.
No, without all the shite. And Bruce, that's what it's all about. We will round it up because it's been an hour. And I like to leave on a high, by the way. I like to leave on this 500 foot. I mean, what an achievement for the bus today. And it's been a shite week for the bus because I've not been able to do what has probably been our busiest week. I've been fucking sitting full of COVID. It's just been a nightmare.
I think this on purpose, Bhoycie. I said this. Kept delaying it. Oh, I can't do it today. My voice, whatever. And then just like building it like that cushion. So wait until we smash the Rangers and then it's post-match finish.
What we'll do? Fuck off. What we'll do before we go? Right. Aspirations for the rest of the season. We'll ask you: is the league on? And is the Scottish Cup on? Because, of course, it's then we've got to play again. Terry, come at you first. We'll just go round the clock.
Treble.
Treble on. Stephen.
Treble, definitely on.
You don't need to say treble, by the way. Nobody's going to get it out.
Treble.
No, I definitely think it's definitely on.
Don't give a fuck. Treble. All day long.
Phil.
Treble's on like Donkey Kong, mate. It is on.
Bruce.
Do you know what? I'm slightly offended at even being asked the fucking question. Don't back doon, double doon.
Treble
yes.
doon.
Treble doon.
Scott.
Nah, it's definitely treble, mate.
Treble.
Aye, definitely.
I just want to say, I just think this is an incredible turn of events. And by the way, I agree with everybody. The treble is on, right?
Huh?
And I just cannot believe from where we were to now, Sunday afternoon, we're all sitting basking in away win at their ground. What? They've not lost at home in over 2 years. We've not beat them there since Johnny Hayes scored. We've only beat them.
Wow.
I know. And I think okay, it's 2 wins, but what were we, 8-9 games before we'd beaten them up until February? I didn't think it was the most convincing display first half. We've still managed to come up trumps. We've still got Tom Rogic playing his slippers. We've still got Kyogo to come back. We've still got a Scottish Cup final to look forward to. We've still got to bring them back to Celtic Park, to paradise. I think there's a hell of a lot to look forward to. I mean, this bus is rocking.
Can I just float something?
Huh? Go on.
Through all of the success over the past 10 years, let's forget about last year or include it or whatever, but isn't this potentially the best season of them all?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. There's something satisfying about this one, and if it happens, yep.
I think satisfying-wise, it's going to be, 100%. I'll give Lanky a quick shout. Lanky's a regular viewer of the programme, and he's just said, Bhoycie, can you give us a shout-out? Donnie and Lucy, they're all superb, and they've donated to a superb cause for cancer research. We need to give them the recognition they deserve. Well, what is the target, mate? Let's fucking double it right now. Put the link in there. I guarantee you. Yeah. I guarantee we'll get a minimum of £2 from almost everyone watching the bus. It's £1,000. It's that easy. Put the link in the comments, Lanky. Let's have it. The Bhoycie bus will rally round.
Bhoycie. Top props to you as well. You know, that is a fantastic cause.
No. Bhoycie, title party. Get it organised.
Yeah, I know. So we are in talks. The venue's the only stickler, but I'll sort that. But I think Brian Carrigan's a Rangers fan, right? It does the theme song. That's the honest truth, right?
Wow, what a revelation.
I know. Unbelievable. But it's actually like a pretty cool indie song. I mean, I knew the bus was going to obviously come to fruition at some point. I'm walking up the road one day and I was like, that song would work if I just took his vocals out. No offense to his vocals, but I was like, just the instrumental. And it has worked. But I'm thinking about if we do the Bhoycie bus, we'll do like an hour podcast format. We'll get like a passenger up on the stage to do like a wee 10-minute talking point or whoever it may be, right? And then instead of just going down the generic singing the Fields Arthur and Rye after it, I think just do rock and roll. I think just an hour and a half of rock and roll covers, man. I think the place will go fucking nuts. And it keeps in sort of tandem with my sort of philosophies in life, because I love rock and roll. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to just it all being, you know what I mean? Like, I love the Celtic stuff and that, but I also like music. And I think, you know, you could do an hour of Celtic chat and then let's just sing some Roll With It by Oasis, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. I think that'll be more fun. Anyway, what a joy it has been. Stephen, we will get you back on, mate. I know that you've had about 14 words when you were probably meant to have an hour on my company this afternoon, but it was too good an opportunity to miss, having all these passengers on with me. It was just too good an opportunity. Everyone, let's...
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.